Hello everybody, this is Ina from Crochet Realm. I had someone on the web asking me to make a video of this crochet block. To make a video on how to make this crochet block. The crochet block is a pattern from a Dover book. The book is called 150 Favorite Crochet Designs. I have permission from them to make the video, so I'll just get started. Since this is only to show how to make it, I'm using any thread and a 1.9mm hook. This is a number 3 thread, and specifically it's Aunt Lydia. I'm gonna start with one chain and then chain 3 to replace our first double crochet, and then chain 3 again. It's a chain 3 space. Next, one double crochet in the first chain stitch, we need to repeat this 3 more times. Chain 3, double crochet into the first chain stitch again, chain 3, one double crochet again into this stitch, and the last chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the third chain stitch of the first double crochet. I will be calling this a double crochet. Round 2, chain 3, 2 double crochets in the same stitch, chain 6, single crochet in the fourth chain from hook. I'm sorry, it's kind of late today. I've been working all day on this video. 3 double crochets into this next double crochet of previous row, so we're gonna work one more corner. I'll show you again how to do it, and then you're gonna just repeat it around. Chain 6, slip stitch into the fourth chain stitch from hook, chain 2, again 3 double crochets into this double crochet, repeat the corner, and again 3 double crochets, and again the corner, and I'll see you at the end of the row. So I got at the end of my round, and I'll slip stitch into the third chain stitch of this first double crochet, like this. Row 3, chain 3, 3 double crochets into the next stitch, one double crochet into this last double crochet, chain 3, roll the picot over and slip stitch into this. Chain 4, slip stitch again into this picot, and then chain 3, and do the double crochets now. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 3 double crochets into the next, 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Let's work the corner again together. 1, 2, 3, 3 chains, then roll the picot over like this, slip stitch into it, chain 4, slip stitch again into the same picot, chain 3, and then repeat from the double crochets around. So I reached the end of my round. I'll slip stitch into this third chain stitch. Row 4, 2 double crochet in the first stitch. That means chain 3 for the first double crochet, and the second double crochet goes into the same stitch. And then 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 3 double crochets into the next stitch, one double crochet into the next stitch, 2 double crochets into the last. For the corners, we need chain 3 and then chain another 4, slip stitch into this 4th chain from hook, created a picot, chain 3, and let's work the double crochets. So 2 double crochets in the first one, one double crochet into the next, 3 double crochets into the next, one double crochet into the next, 2 double crochets into the last. So let's work the corner again. So we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to chain 4, slip stitch into the 4th chain from hook to make a picot, and then chain 3, and then we repeat again, starting with the double crochets and going around till we come back where we started. So I reached the end of this round, and I'll slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of this first double crochet, just like I did for all the other rows. Row 5, this is the most important row so far. We're gonna go and do 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 here and 1 in the next. We have 4. Okay, here we go. Chain 1, turn your work, 1 single crochet into each of these 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. slip stitch into the last stitch here, chain 2, turn, 1 single crochet into each of the last two. 1, 2, chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet into the next single crochet, slip stitch into the next, chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet into the single crochet of the previous step here, like this. Now we need to make the petals. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this chain stitch where you work the double crochet. For the next petals we're gonna chain 4 for the next two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet into the 4th chain stitch from hook. Sorry, what's going on? Okay, I got it. Chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch where you work the double crochet, and repeat exactly the same petal again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this chain stitch, another slip stitch into the 1st chain of the 5, if you remember here. Turn your work, slip stitch on top of this single crochet, like so, and then single crochet along this side, 1, and then 2, 3, 4. 4 single crochets, 1 slip stitch on the side of this double crochet. Continue with 1 double crochet into the next stitch here, three double crochets into the next, one double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into each of these 5 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, skip the first one and work 1 single crochet into the remaining stitches. 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, skip the first one, single crochet into the remaining stitches. 3, chain 1, skip the first one, single crochet into the last 2 stitches, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the last stitch. Let's work the petals. Chain 5, double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into the same chain where we did the double crochet, and then next to petals, chain 4, double crochet into this chain stitch, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch here. The same thing again, chain 4, double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this stitch, another slip stitch into this chain here, turn your work like so, and slip stitch on top of this single crochet, and then work your single crochets along this side. So 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Slip stitch into the side of this double crochet. Next, 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, and then second double crochet, and 2 double crochets into the last stitch here. Chain 1, single crochet into these next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, skip this single crochet and work 1 single crochet in the next 3. 2, 3. Chain 1, turn your work, 1 single crochet in the next 2. 1, 2, slip stitch in the 3rd stitch. Yes. Chain 2, turn your work, skip, slip stitch, skip this stitch, and 1 single crochet into this last one. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into this stitch. Petals now. First petal is going to be chain 5, double crochet into the 4th chain stitch from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this chain stitch. Next petal, chain 4, double crochet into the 4th chain stitch from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this stitch. The same thing, repeat 1 more time, the last petal, chain 4, double crochet into this 4th chain stitch from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch, slip stitch into this chain stitch here, turn your work, slip stitch into the top of this single crochet, and then let's work the single crochet along this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 slip stitch on the side of this double crochet stitch. Okay, so we've done this section. Now the corner. Chain 2, 1, 2, roll the picot over, slip stitch into this picot here, and then chain 4, slip stitch again here, chain 2, and repeat the process that started here. I'm gonna go over again one more time for this whole thing, and then you will have to repeat it on your own. So 2 double crochets into this first stitch, one double crochet into the next 2 in each of the next 2. 1, 2. Now chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into each of these 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the first 3. 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the last stitch. Chain 2, turn your work, 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches into these. So 1 and then 2. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the first stitch, slip stitch into the second, chain 1, and single crochet into this single crochet here, like this. Now we have to work our petals. So the first petal, chain 5, double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch. Next petal, chain 4, double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch, the same petal again, 4, chain 4, double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, chain 3, slip stitch into this chain stitch, slip stitch into the first, chain stitch of the 5, turn your work like this and slip stitch on top of the single crochet here, and then let's work our single crochets. 1 and then 2, 3, hold on, 3, and then 4 here, 4, slip stitch into this like that, and then we go for the next one. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 3 double crochets into the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. We have 5 in total. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into each of these next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, turn your work, skip the first one and work single crochet into each of the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, turn, skip the first one, single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, turn, skip the first one, single crochet into the last 2. Chain 1, turn, skip the first one, single crochet into this stitch. Petals, you remember how to work the petals, so I'm gonna let you do it on. So I've done my petals. Slip stitch into this chain, turn your work and slip stitch on top of this single crochet, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to have 4 single crochet along this side. 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into this, like this, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 2. So 1, and then second double crochet, 2 double crochet into this stitch here. Chain 1, and then you have to turn your work, single crochet into each of these 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, one single crochet into the last 3, like you skip the first one and then you work 1 single crochet into the next, 1 into the next, and 1 into the last one, and then chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet in the next 2. So 1, 2, slip stitch into the last one, this, chain 2, turn, skip the slip stitch, skip the next single crochet and single crochet into the next single crochet, and then chain 1, turn, single crochet into this single crochet. Work the petals, please. So I have my petals done. I'll slip stitch into this chain stitch here, just like I've done every other time before. Turn your work, slip stitch on top of this single crochet, and then single crochets along the sides. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's gonna be first one, 1, and then 2, and 3, and then 4. And the slip stitch on the side of this double crochet. Now we work the corner. I'm gonna make the corner with you together. Chain 2, roll the picot over like this, slip stitch into it, chain 4, slip stitch again into this picot, chain 2, and start the repeat all over. Please go back in this video about minute 9, maybe a few seconds before, maybe a little later, somewhere there, and repeat this step around until we meet at the end of this round. So I'm at the end of this row. I just finished working this corner. and then slip stitch into this third chain stitch to complete row 5. Chain 1 and cut the thread about, I don't know, however long it's comfortable with you, and then pull tight, and there you have the first stage of this block. So it looks like this. You have to turn the petals, just arrange them however they feel right to be arranged, like that. You have to have 12 sets of petals in total. Rearrange them a little bit. And this one, they curl up like this and like this. Okay, so now our pattern looks a little bit more like the one from the book. Okay, so next row is going to be row 6. I of course made myself a little chart so I could follow the pattern easier, because I am a chart person. I don't really like following written patterns. So I'm going to start with a different color just to have the contrast and to see how it's going to look really. It's the same thread, Aunt Lydia, is just a different color, but it's the same thickness as the one I used here. So with a standing single crochet, so you have to have your loop, your slip knot already on the hook like this, and we're gonna go into the middle petal of any flower, and we're gonna make a single crochet into the top of this stitch, on top of this stitch, like this. And then we need to chain 13. So let's chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you noticed that I did weave in that tail right away. I don't like tails hanging. Okay, one single crochet into the next petal. So I'm gonna make it into this double crochet here on top of the petal. Next one, it's gonna be 11, chain 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Single crochet on top of the next petal. So here's the secret of this row. When you see a flower like this, from one petal to the other, it's going to be chain 13. But in between these flowers, it's going to be chain 11. So So that's the only secret. So chain 13, 13, 11, 13, 13, 11, 13, 13, 11, and 13. So let's do that. Chain 13, 13, like this, single crochet on top of the petal, again chain 13, 11, 12, 13, single crochet on top of the petal, like this, and then chain 11, in between them it's 11, on top of each it's 13. So I'll see you at the end of the row. So I am at my last 13 chain space, slip stitch into this first single crochet to join this round. It's kind of difficult to slip stitch here. Okay, next we need to work 15 single crochets over this chain 13 space. 15. So let's do that. Chain 1 and then work 15 into this space. So 1, 2. So this is my 15th single crochet here. And then 10 single crochets in next space. 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chain 11 and then turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Turn your work. Single crochet, slip stitch in 7th single crochet from hook. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into this one. Work a slip stitch like this. Chain 1, turn your work again, and have 14 single crochets into this loop. So 1, 2. So I have my 14 single crochets over this 11 chain space, and then we need to make 3 single crochets on the remaining chain space here. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we need to make 5 single crochets in next space. 5 in next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chain 2 and turn. And now turn your work. We're gonna make 1 double treble into each of these single crochets, separated by 2 chains. So chain 2 and now double treble, which is 3 yarn over the hook, 3 rows over the hook. So into the first one, 1, 2, 3, so that's your double treble, chain 2, one more here, and repeat this until you've covered every single crochet on this space, let's say so. So I've made my 14 double trebles separated by chain 2 and then another chain 2, slip stitch into the next 8th single crochet from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into this one, slip stitch like this, and then we need to chain 1 and turn our work. Now 2 single crochets into the next chain 2 space, chain 4, slip stitch on top of the single crochet here, single crochet into this chain 2 space, into the same chain 2 space. So we worked a picot. Another one, 2 single crochets into the next chain 2 space, chain 4, slip stitch on top of this single crochet, 1 single crochet into the same chain 2 space. We need to have 7 picots in total for now, so I'm gonna get back to you when I have 7 picots in total. So I am at my 7th section or chain 2 space, and I'm covering it with 2 single crochets, chain 4, slip stitch into this, top of single crochet, form a picot, and 1 single crochet into this same chain 2 space. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7. Great. Now we need to make 2 single crochets into the next chain 2 space, and then we need to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're gonna make 2 unfinished trebles. That means 2 yarn over the hook, and we're gonna make this treble into this 5th chain stitch from hook. So that's first unfinished treble, and then the second unfinished treble, also in the same chain stitch as the previous treble. We're gonna finish the trebles. We're gonna chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are going to slip stitch on top of the cluster like this, and then we're gonna chain 5, 5, and we're gonna slip stitch into this chain stitch here like this, and 1 single crochet into the same chain 2 space to finish covering up the chain 2 space. Next, you're gonna work in each of the chain 2 spaces here. In each of them, you're gonna work the same thing what you did here. So you need to have 7 picots up to here. I'm gonna see you there where I finish here covering up the chain 2 spaces. So I finished covering up my 7 chain 2 spaces. The first time I followed the pattern from the book, it took me 3 hours, and I made a mistake, and that mistake was I skipped making this last picot, and I went straight into the next single crochets here, and then when I wanted to join the next block to this side, then I discovered a picot missing, and that messed up my whole pattern later. So now, after we've done this step, we need to work 10 single crochets on the remaining space here. So let's work 10 single crochets there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 single crochets here, and then a picot. We need to work a picot. You do remember how to make a picot, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into this, 4th chain from hook, and then we need to work 4 single crochets into this next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we chain 2 and we turn our work like this. One double crochet into this last picot, and then chain 2 again, 1 double crochet into this picot 3 times, so that would be our first time, and then chain 2, double crochet into this picot, that would be our second time, and chain 2 and double crochet into this picot, that would be our third time. Chain 2 again and slip stitch in next 4th single crochet. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Slip stitch. Great, now we have to cover them up in the same way we did here. So we're gonna chain 1 and we're gonna turn our work, and we're gonna work 2 single crochets into the next chain 2 space, chain 4, slip stitch on top of the last single crochet made, so 1 single crochet on the same chain 2 space. Now do the same thing for the remaining 4 chain 2 spaces. So I've completed covering the chain 2 spaces I had, and now I have to work 11 single crochets on this remaining space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now please go back in the video at the moment where I start working with this new color, but not right from the beginning, but where I start working the 10 single crochets. So you're gonna repeat from this moment, from where you start making 10 single crochets. Go back in the video to that moment and repeat this whole process 3 more times for the entire block, and I'll see you back here. So I cannot believe I'm at the end of my last repeat. The pattern says to end with a picot, so let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch here, and then slip stitch in the first 4 single crochets and make fine small shell. Okay, we have to join the row first, so we could, join it. And that was 1, and then 2, 3, and then 4. Here, 4. And then we have to work this shell again. That would be chain 2, turn your work, and work 1 double crochet into this picot, and then chain 2, another double crochet here, another chain 2, another double crochet into this picot, again chain 2, and 1 last double crochet into this picot, and 1 more chain 2, slip stitch into the 4th. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4 here, slip stitch here, chain 1, turn your work, and cover them with 2 single crochets, chain 4, one single crochet into this same chain 2 space. Continue covering these remaining chain 2 spaces in the same way as we did for this space, and then I'll see you at the end. I finished covering up the chain 2 spaces, and I think I'm just gonna slip stitch into this stitch for a final, and then chain 1 and cut your thread. Pull and then weave it in on the wrong side of the motif. So there it is, our square motif. When it's gonna be blocked, it'll look better, a lot better. It's not gonna be curly and ruffled. It'll sit just, straight and flat. Now for the next block you're gonna make, if you are going to join it as you make them, then you're gonna have to join it like this. Once you get to the first cluster, you're gonna join the cluster, the picots. You're gonna do the cluster and then chain 2, slip stitch into this picot, for example, into that picot, and then chain 2, slip stitch back into your picot that you're working. You're gonna continue working this, so one will stay free, and then you're gonna join next 3 picots to these ones, and these ones are gonna stay free. You're gonna continue like that. You're gonna make this, and you're gonna join the new block to the previous block by this picot. The same here. 3 are going to be free, these 3 are going to be joined, this is going to be free, and then this you're going to join to the next one in the corner here. And the same thing for every other side of this square motif. this was a very time-consuming block, crochet block, but it's a very beautiful design. I hope you enjoy making it, and if the video is not enough in order to make it, please consider buying the book. I guess I bought it with 13 bucks on Amazon 6 years ago, so I'm sure you'll find new ones or used ones at a nice price. So thank you for watching, and if anyone has other requests, like any videos to make, you can contact me and I'll try my best. Thank you. Bye.